copy my shit right now. You see this fucking shit? Look at this shit. Aimbot right here.
Okay guys, so the main talking points for today's video will be stick resolution, stick trajectory, and polling rates. Those are the main topics that I'll be focusing on for this video. Also guys, remember to subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe, let me know that you like the video by liking the video. Does help me a lot, helps the channel grow. Let's get into it.
0 to 100 linear raw on both sticks, 8-bit.
Okay guys, so I'll be starting off on the console, just to show a bit of the gameplay and the settings. So I'll use 4:3 linear. Alright, these are off. I currently don't have mine set to default. All of these are off. 0 on 0. Yeah, this is off. So the main focus is 4:3 linear. Alright, as you can see, I have my hand cam. You can see where the cable is going. If I disconnect my controller, you can see disconnects. It's not connected to wireless or anything. Alright, but I know that I'm going to have somebody comment, oh, he's a cheater, he's using Zen, he's using Zim, he's using a Titan. No, I don't have any of those devices. I just have good recoil control. As you can see, I'm currently using the default settings that Hal has on his G7 Pro over here. It's not on the left stick, but yeah, the right stick. Okay, so as you can see, raw, 0, 100, linear curve, raw. Okay, so that's just so you know I'm not using any phony device to fake the sensitivity or anything like that. Once again, I'm gonna plug out the controller. You can see it disconnects. It's not wireless. It's not connected to anything else. Alright, now that's out of the way. Let's get into the explanation for the bitrate. Alrighty guys, so we are here on the PC. So I'm going to be showing you some stuff that might help you understand the reasoning behind some of Hal's settings choice. The software that I use will be linked in the description at the download site that you can get it and try it yourself on your own PC. I'll list them in the description below. So let's start off the GameSir app. So I built a default linear 8-bit raw profile basically. So it's essentially like what HAL has. Now as a disclaimer, this is the G7 Pro. The version that Hal has is the G7 Pro 8K, I believe. I don't know if there's something in between the 8K and the G7 Pro, but his controller is able to go up to 8K hertz. The original Xbox G7 Pro, it's only up to 1000 hertz, and you're capped at you're capped on Xbox on console at 250 hertz. So even if you set this to 1000 hertz on the PC and then you carry it over to the Xbox, you'll only be getting 250. So that's the first thing that I'll get out there. So we're talking about bitrate. So the bitrate is basically the resolution of the stick, how much steps or how much data points the stick is going to produce as you carry it across the surface here, right? So in order to see this, you do have a software that is called Stick Analyzer. Again, it will be in the description if you want to try this yourself. We're focusing on the right stick, so we are going to press 2, and I'll enable my camera for this so you can see what I'm doing with this controller, right? The controller is connected to my PC right now. We have 2 entered, so I'll press enter, and this will come up. Then I will go ahead. It says go around 3 times clockwise, release, and it will go back to center. Then I will slowly try to make it as linear as possible on this line. You're gonna have tremors because it's not perfect. Alright, so as you can see all these data points, all these lovely data points right here, right? It's not perfect because my fingers were trembling and stuff like that, but the important parts you want to look at here are the dots, right? These are the data points basically. The space in between are the data points. So the reasoning behind selecting 8-bit and not having it at the highest 12-bit, essentially all these spacing you see between the data points gives aim assist essentially some time to react or activate essentially. So all these spacing between the data points, individual data points, it basically gives aim assist some time to activate in between to help with your aim. So now what I'm going to do is to go all the way up to 12-bit. All right, so it will be on 12-bit now. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open up Stick Analyzer. It's going to be with the right stick, so I'm going to select with 2, press enter, select the window. I'm going to go around 3 times clockwise. Let's release. Then try to go across slowly at a steady pace, linear. Already you can see like it's so much smoother. But this is the result with 12-bit now. As you can see, you can't even tell that these are data points right now. It's not even possible to tell that you're looking at data points right now on the screen. So let's zoom in. If you zoom into this, you have to zoom in so far in to start seeing data points. So essentially, if you have it on the highest bit, you're not really giving aim assist time to see what's happening because you're basically controlling everything, the fine little movements of the joystick. So you see how much time I had to zoom in order to finally see the data points? Yeah, so essentially that is one of the reasons that selecting 8-bit would be better than selecting the highest 12-bit. So it allows aim assist a bit more time to activate in between the data points essentially. That's the best way I'm able to explain it. Alright, so for instance, let's go now to maybe 9-bit. Maybe you don't want it to have it on 8-bit. Let's see what 9-bit looks like. So I am going to open up Stick Analyzer again. I'm going to select 2 because we're working with the right stick. Select the window. Go around 3 times clockwise. Release. Then move at your own pace across. Bam! This is what 9-bit looks like. So it's not as smooth of a line like 12-bit. It's not as smooth, but nothing like 8-bit. Right? So hopefully with this explanation, you understand what it's basically doing, the 8-bit setting. Behind this, you can see the linearity of your curve, the tremor. So the higher the bit, the more tremor you're going to have basically on the stick, because it's so sensitive when you're on a higher bit rate. As you can see, the resolution, it detected it as 348. That varies depending on the bit rate as well. So just for science sake, let's put it back to 12. I'm gonna open up Stick Analyzer and show you that data behind the window. Alright, so I'm just gonna run through this real quick. That is 12-bit, and as you can see, stick resolution here, it picked up 891. Those are the movements. As you can see, the tremor went up, linearity went up because it's a lot smoother, and it detects all the little movements on your joystick with the data points. Alright guys, so we're here with the other part, which is going to be stick trajectory. The stick trajectory is basically how the joystick sensor calculates the movement of your stick. So circular gives you this circular look, very circular look to the graphic here. But if you go over to raw, which is on the right stick, it's more of a square. So this is like a software change to the joystick sensor. Normally, like the older controllers, like your older original Xbox One, your PlayStation 4 controllers, they have regular sticks, potentiometer sticks. So this is what it would be doing, like it's looking like a square more than a perfect circle like this. Okay, so I'm going to bring up stick joystick tester. So if you can see or remember, I had circular on the left stick and I had raw on the right stick. So if I go like this, as you can see, it's very circular. It doesn't have any misshape or ill shape to it. It's very circular. Now let's go over to the right stick. As you can see here, what it's going to do, it's basically having a rectangular, well, a square shape, almost a polygon shape actually, with this, as you can see. So this is the difference between raw and circular. Me personally, I've always used circular on my sensitivities. Reason being, It gives you a lot more control. It's more predictable. With raw, your diagonals are going to be sped up because you have more room here in the corners because of the software adjustment. And raw does work. It's not that it doesn't work. It may work for some people, it may not. You'll have to try it out and see what works for you. For instance, let me switch. What I noticed with my controller, the calculations that the software does isn't the same if I switch my left stick over to raw. Now I'm going to do the test again, but the left stick now has raw. Let me just switch this over to circular. The right stick, now they're flipped, so let's do this. As you can see, it is different from what the right stick looks like from before. So you see, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect polygon around it. As you can see right here, the sensor isn't really picking up correctly, as you can see on the graphic. So for that reason exactly is why I don't really like raw, but going on in the future I'll test it out with my senses. The right stick now, it's on circular. Circular is going to be circular because the calculations are going to be consistent, right? So to me, this is going to be hardware based on how your sensor operates, how it's working with raw, and it's going to be personal preference with how raw feels compared to circular. But to me, both will work just fine depending on what you want to use. Gone through stick trajectory, we've gone through bit rate. Now what I'm going to do now is the polling rate. So let's go back here. So the polling rate, as I said earlier in the video, polling rate depends on what platform you're on. If you're on console, you're stuck with 250 Hz. That is what it's capped at. If you're on PC, you can go up to whatever this is right here. As stated before, HAL has the 8K version of the G7 Pro. So that version, I believe, is mainly for PC. I don't know if it works on console. I don't think it works on console. But yeah, so the highest I can go here is 1000. But essentially, you'll get the idea of what it does. So the polling rate or the report rate essentially is how fast your controller sends data to the computer or the console when you do an action. Say if I press X, if I press circle, A, B for Xbox, the triggers, the joystick, all of that. So it's how fast it's going to send the data to the device. So for this, I'm going to bring up this software called polling rate to tester. Right here, as it's asking for the number you want. So if you want 2000 to test 2000 Hertz, 4000, 6000, or you can just enter the number directly. So for instance, if you had the G7 Pro 8K, you can go ahead and just enter 8000 and press enter, and it should go ahead and try to test 8000 Hertz. I don't have 8000 Hertz. As I said, I have 1000, so I'll type 1000 since the option isn't there. When I press enter, it will ask me what stick I want to try to detect. It will be the right stick. So I'll select 2, enter, and then I'll go ahead and just go ahead and do this. If you remember, I had it on 250, as you can see right here. It says 250 Hertz. Alright, Shows you all the data it was collecting while you were spinning the stick. Alright. So all these reds are basically high delay in the stick data being sent. So essentially this is like what the different skips you'd see in the line or linearity graph that I was showing earlier. So sometimes it would happen like where these red outputs are. So if I was to go ahead and select 1000 here, it's going to, as you can see, it says it's going to disable the vibration or trigger, and your audio port is going to be disabled if you have it on 1000 hertz. So if you are not able to hear audio on your Xbox, you probably have it in 1000 hertz. So let's bring Okay guys, so we're back here on the console. So yeah, let me know guys what you think of the video. If it was helpful, go ahead, like the video. Remember, subscribe, help the channel grow, be a part of the community. Yeah. If you have any other video ideas guys, let me know. I'll definitely look into it, see if I can help in any way. But these settings are good. I don't tend to go for 4-3 linear. I normally play 4-2 linear. I normally play 4-2 linear, and I have my optics.
All right.
And these are on as well. I'm testing out something new with these, but I tend to play with 4-2 linear more than 4-2. But I might try 4-3 linear. Make a video about it, maybe. We'll see. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, wherever you're watching from. Until then, Zapax out.
A king never bends. A king never relies on others.